Hey, how's it going? So today I want to tell a story about 13-year-old crackhead. All right. So when I was like 19 years old, I had a buddy. We were using buddies. And then we went and we met up with this other guy, and we all went down to this crack house in the city, right in Detroit. And what this guy was going to do, well, he was going to take this extension cord that he got from his mom, and he was going to hook it up to the power lines in the back to give the crack house electricity. And in return, he was going to get a 40, right? Just a little 40. And so I had 20, and so I was like, well, yeah, I'll just come along with you. And so we, right? We all get down there. And it was a weird part. It was on the west side. I usually went to the east side. So it was a little bit stranger for me, but it was whatever. It was an adventure at the time, right? Adventure to go get some drugs. And then so we're in this house and it's dark, right? It's like 11 p.m. There's no electricity, and there's like 20 of us in there, right? All packed into the living room, this little side area. And then the people who were running the house, there was like three of them. They were in the front, they had a gun next to the door, big thing, big piece of wood blocking the door so nobody could just burst in. Yeah, it was an experience. I mean, everybody was pretty cool. Kind of kept quiet, kept to myself, just like I usually did in those situations until I got drugs in me. But something that I'll really never forget, something that's affected me and really makes me think about there's just the state of the things today, you know what I mean? And the things that we're all concerning ourselves with and how irrelevant they are in relation to a lot of the experiences these younger kids are having like in the inner city. So what happened was is I'm in the living room, and all of a sudden I look over, and there's this kid. Couldn't have been 13, couldn't have been more than 13 years old. And he had on a gray hat just like this, and it was pulled down, flipped up, right? Flipped down. Black kid. He had on a black hoodie, right? This big black hoodie. He had on blue jeans. And you couldn't really see his face. This was wintertime, so you couldn't really see his face. Um, but you just knew that like he had this look on his face, just like no soul, right? That's what it looked like. He looked, I'm sure we all can identify with that. And he was smoking cigarette filters out of the ashtray, but there was no tobacco left in him because all of us had already smoked all the butts. So he's in there just pounding away at the filters. And I just like look over at him, and I just start thinking, like, what am I doing here? What is he doing here? You know? And it was just crazy. And in that room, he's sitting next to like two strippers and then like three random dudes on the other side. And he's just like sitting there, and he's just like not paying attention to what they're talking about. He's focused 100% on smoking these filters, right? And I know there was no tobacco in them because I smoked a bunch of those fucking those butts, dude. You know what I mean? I know. I wasn't above that at the time. Picked them up off the ground, whatever. Um, but yeah, man, it was just really crazy. And I can only imagine what that kid's life was like. You know what I mean? The trials and tribulations that a lot of us have gone through pale in comparison to some other people. It doesn't make our stories like less important, but you know, I really feel like when this kid was like young, he started at such a disadvantage. It's so sad when you think about it. This kid was basically judged poorly before he even like had a conception of what his identity was. Like I know so many people whose mom was a prostitute and whose dad was trying to sell drugs to get rich. And then that kid grew up in a house with all these different dudes coming in, and fucking some of them did stuff with him because they're weird, and then some of them fucking mentally abuse him, physically abuse him. I know a lot of people like that. And it's just, I hope in my heart that this kid was able to turn it or to turn it around. You know what I mean? I think about it all the time. Think about how, you know, we, can feel so sorry for ourselves at times, when we're going through all this stuff, and learning not to, right? Learning not to victimize ourselves is one of like the key essential tools that we need, in order to really turn the key. You know what I mean? Turn that key and really just start a new and fresh life. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, even though through that, it's like thinking about kids like that. You know what I'm saying? That motherfucker was a victim. You know what I'm saying? He was a fucking victim. Like he was. You know, a lot of us have stories like that. And even though the reality is that we are victims sometimes, sometimes, less than others, sometimes a lot more than others, you know, it's not like it's not the answer for us. You know what I'm saying? It's not the answer for us. There is no solace found in being a victim of anything. Now, being a, a creator or like making choices, those are the small little things that like help pull us out of the victim mentality. And I just really hope that this kid was able to really turn it around. I don't know, get it together, find a place in his head, maybe one or two memories he has of experiencing love. And so he knows what it's like and he knows what he needs to go get. I really hope that's what he does, man. I really hope that's what he does. Getting so caught up in the humdrum of things. Yesterday I was thinking about like role models and stuff. And how are you supposed to become who you want to be if you don't have positive examples showing you that it's possible to like transcend the shit, of your circumstance. You know what I mean? You just, how the fuck do you do that? You don't. You got all these negative, like, blah, blah, blah. I mean, most of the time people don't. That's the sad truth. They don't. They live lives as destitution, just praying in the quiet places in their head for something to come along and just take them away. You know, that's so fucking sad for so many people. But I tell you, it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be like that. Because I ended up going home from that house and just like seeing that that's the kind of life that I was in. It showed me that that's not what I wanted to do. And even though I kept doing it for a long time, for years, um, the seed was planted, right? That like this fucking sucks, and it's not gonna ever not fucking suck. It's gonna always fucking suck. And then maybe I'm gonna have a kid, and then their life is gonna fucking suck too, because I never learned how to fucking, you know, be an adult, right? I mean, or not being an adult, but you know, being you know, a person who's dealt with their shit and fucking wants to live a better life and is actively taking the steps to do so that that can be the role model. That can be the role model. We experience reality in our mind, and it can be a prison. It can be a long boat journey where everyone's dying of scurvy, right? Or it can be end up being something beautiful. It's good.